don't pick up strangers. Don't pick up strangers. Now, I need to define stranger, okay? A stranger is someone who is strange. That's what a stranger is. Or, now, honestly, we're all a little bit strange to somebody, right? So someone who, let's just say, someone who is stranger than you, okay? That's what I mean by a stranger. When my mom, who passed away a few years ago, was very, very outgoing. My dad, not so much outgoing. And my mom, wherever she went, she would just meet people, and she was very friendly. She would begin conversations with people in line. She would begin conversations with strangers all the time. And this would kind of get on my dad's nerves. And he would say to her, Annie, don't talk to strangers. I can remember hear my dad says, Annie, don't talk to strangers. And my mom would say, well, after I meet them, they're not strangers anymore. So my mom is literally a person who never met a what? She never met a stranger because she was so outgoing, and which was a great trait. So what I'm not saying don't meet people and don't be friendly, okay? And the reason I tell you that story is this part of the story. When I was in college, she flew to North Carolina to spend some time with her mom. And when she came back, I'll never forget, we're kind of gathered around the kitchen, and she put her hands on her hips, she said, well, I finally met a stranger. And what had happened was she was flying back, and she was sitting next to a guy, and he had had a little bit too much to drink, and I'll just leave it there. She finally met a stranger, but it was so funny to hear her say that because it wasn't like she didn't have guardrails. It wasn't like she wasn't dialed in to there's just some people in the world that you just need to be careful around. She was super friendly, but she understood at some point there's you know what? I can't travel with you. So bottom line on this one is simply this. Be kind. That's a fruit of the Spirit. Be kind. But be careful. Careful of who you allow in your vehicle. Careful about who you allow in the inner circle of your life. We are kind to everyone. We are patient with everyone. We're compassionate and generous with everyone. But be careful who you allow in the inner circle. So I want to just kind of ask this question as we move on. Is there anyone you're doing life with, if you're real honest, that they make you less healthy? They cause you to doubt yourself. They seem to always be slowly and maybe subtly chipping away at your values. They're kind of dismissive of your values. And at times you're almost intimidated to be yourself because of how they're going to respond. In fact, over time, you have found yourself becoming a different person when you're around that person. That is a stranger, and you need to drop them off. God loves them. You can't handle them. Maybe someday you will be able to handle a person like that. But if your life is being bent and moved and drawn in a direction that creates, tension on the inside, dings your conscience, you find yourself doing things you never intended to do, you find yourself drifting from your values, you find yourself being dishonest with another group of people because, again, suddenly you find yourself, there's just too much duplicity, you're kind of living two different lives. That's a stranger. And you need to drop them off. And there's nothing more difficult, perhaps, than ending what seems to be a friendship or a relationship. But for the sake of that other person who needs someone else in their life to perhaps bring them back to a sense of balance in terms of life in general or perhaps faith, for their sake, for your sake, you might need to drop them off. Or go back to the car thing for a second. You would not repeatedly loan your car to someone who repeatedly trashed it. So don't loan yourself to someone who repeatedly trashes you. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you check out the links on your screen for what to watch next, and check out the description below where we are going to provide you with free resources designed to help you make better decisions and live with fewer regrets. And again, thanks for watching.